Hello and welcome to Hair in the Hawthorn. My name's Kate Ray and I'm your host. And today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm quite nervous about this, to be honest with you. I'm kind of going to put something out into the universe that is very much part of me and the things that I do, and is related to this channel very much so, but you'll have to bear with me. So for those who know my channel, I have been doing little shorts about my favourite bumbling pixie hunter, that's Erwin Saunders, and you can see his work on YouTube if you just type in Erwin Saunders. He is such a magical character and has brought so much joy to my life and so much inspiration. You'll have to excuse me today, I've got a bit of a cold coming. Not the plague, which is great, but not feeling 100% on top of form. And I'm rambling and I'm putting this off. I am putting this off. So what you may or may not know about me is, amongst the plethora of things that I do with my life, I am a maker. I sculpt. I am by trade a secondary art teacher. However, I made a decision to move forward into looking at things that would make me happy in life. And this YouTube videos that I do is definitely part of it. But I've also started venturing into my own small business. So as part of that business, I make sculptures that are inspired by art and inspired by otherworldly stuff. So you can see behind me here, that's one of my influences. I don't know how well you can see that picture. So mushrooms have played a massive part in my build and my sculpting over probably the last 18 months or so. And they've evolved a bit. So I was making and selling incredibly detailed, as realistic sculptures as I could of different mushrooms. And you can find some of those that are remaining on Etsy. There will be more going on my Etsy site, which is Hair in the Hawthorn. And that evolved, and I've been doing a collaboration of my love of mushrooms with a love of ghosts and the paranormal. So I'm just going to show you one example of the kind of things that I do. So, is the wrong way around. This little guy is based on a fly agaric. I think we've got too much light there. So it's based on a fly agaric and is a little ghosty fly agaric mushroom. So I always work in 3D. That's my predominant thing that I do. I'm much more happy when I'm building and sculpting. You tell how nervous I am about this. I feel like I'm putting a part of my soul out on show. So what's this all got to do with Erwin Saunders? Erwin recently auctioned some pencil sketches and some lino work on eBay, and quite rightly got a really good sum of money for it, quite rightly. And if that's how he's supporting the work that he's doing, then absolutely he should do it. He's also on the big cartel. He's selling lino cut prints on there. I've had a look today. And he's also on Redbubble, which he's selling t-shirts, etc. Still, you know, I've still got things in the cart on that site, which I am going to buy and buy into his work because I want to support him. All his work is definitely influential on me. I've said before, it's got that very Froud quality, very Brian Froud kind of quality. But one of the bits of work that he did that really struck a chord in my imagination and really fired me up to start a project was his lino cut of Pixie Shamans. I'm going to show you some of them. I've printed them off. So this is the kind of thing that he did, and the theory is that pixies get dressed up in this shamanic garb, and it really inspired me. It really fired up my imagination to considering these creatures sort of dancing around a campfire, you know, just that whole kind of drumming and something a little bit dark and a little bit spooky about them, which often for me the Fey realm is on that side of the spectrum, that it's something to be respected as well as something to be revered. It's not, for me, all about sort of the bubbles and unicorn side of things. And I really am rambling now. So what I've done is I've taken my skills in sculpting, and I have looked at these pictures and tried to get my head around putting them in a three-dimensional sense. So it was really interesting process because it really challenged me. There was lots of complexities that occurred in these builds, and it pushed me a little bit further in learning new techniques, which is great. But one of the things that did occur to me while I was sculpting, I very much had in mind that these were costumes that creatures were in. And they are quite verging on the scary because of that, and that there is something about bringing something from a 2D reality of these lino cuts into a 3D reality that gives them a life, which has surprised me. And they've turned out with a quality that's very Terry Gilliam and very sort of labyrinthy, you know, the labyrinth goblins, which have a cartoony quality to them, but also erring on the side of a little bit on the scary side. So I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you in conjunction. I've completed 3 right now. I am going to complete the set of 6. There are 6 shamans in that lino cut print. And what I've done is I have made sure that I'm true to the lino cut. So I haven't gone as far as making them in a naturalistic sense. That's something that I'm possibly going to look at in the future. There's lots of bits of his work that I have ideas for that I want to bring into that three-dimensional reality. So the first one that I'm going to show you, I haven't written a title down of these lino cuts, so I'm going to give them the names that I've kind of imbued on them as I'm going. So the first one's like a bit of a mashup of a bird and a deer. That's the way I can describe it. And it's this fella here was the first sculpture that I did. The challenge for me is to get the lino cut look onto a 3-dimensional creature. So this was my first guy that I did. He's the first little shaman, and I'm very aware that my camera isn't great, but if you go over to my Instagram page, I will be putting photographs up of these guys. So he was the first one that I did, and I don't know how well you can see there, but getting this kind of black and grey sort of texturing was my first challenge, and how to build them so they are have a quality of a pixie inside them. So he was my first one. I know I was fairly pleased with how he turned out. There's things in subsequent builds that I would do slightly differently and improve on, I suppose. But right now, I quite like him. He's not my favourite out of a lot of the sculpts, and he's not my favourite by far in the lineup of the 6 shamans. So that's the first one that I did. I want to show you. The second one that I attempted, which my eyes were bleeding yesterday because the individual detail on this one was hours and hours and hours. Because I wanted it to have a quality that meant that finer detail was definitely needed. And it's this kind of straw, what I consider like a straw man, very pagany, grass or straw covered shaman. And let me show you my interpretation. So this is my interpretation of that particular one. And I was really pleased. So each one of these bits are all individually sculpted and placed on. I did have to, with all these sculptures, make their accessories beforehand, and because of the when you're building that there is, you know, you have to think about, is this going to flop? Is this going to fall over? Is this going to bend? So yeah, all the individual bits, like he's got a stag antler staff going off, and I was very aware that the pixie inside had to look out. This is the crazy thing, the crazy conversations that went off in my head. So for me on this one, this would be sat on top of the head like a hat, and they would actually be looking out from about here, just under the peak of that hat. So I had all kind of conversations with these guys as I was building them and making them. Again, I'll put pictures of these up on my Instagram. The next one of the trio that I've completed, and he is by far my favourite, and has such personality. I'm so looking forward, I'm so excited to build the final three. But it's this, what I'm assuming is like a badger type character. And he came out with so much personality. It was unreal. Again, all these bits making up the body are individual pieces. He's got that sort of stave going off here, and this definitely was the hat. And in terms of where he'd be looking out of the mouth of that thing. And I'll just show you what the lino print looks like in comparison. So this is the lino cut, and this is my three-dimensional interpretation of that lino cut. And I'm so pleased how he turned out. Now I'm in a bit of a quandary about this. I'm in a bit of a quandary because whenever I build anything, I build for me. I don't build with a view that I'm going to sell it. There's nothing I build with a view to sell it. However, I end up keeping very little of the sculptures that I make. There's one little glass jar that I did over there, which is got a mushroom on, and it's got lights inside. And when I made that, I am so keeping that. I am so keeping that one. Can't let that one go. And I often do lamps and potion bottles and that kind of thing. I'm in a quandary with these guys because I've made them for me. I've made them as an inspiration from Erwin's work, and an homage to him as well, loving his work and wanting to get into that landscape that he talks about. I put some little teasers on my Instagram page of the feet, the arms, the horns, all the little bits that I had to build first, knowing that they were going to be complex on the build later if I didn't build them. And somebody has already guessed what I'm doing and where I'm going with this, and has made the comment, "I want one." So I don't know. I don't know where to go with this. I am in two minds. All I can say is this. My first thought on this was, Erwin, if you're watching and you would like some three-dimensional representations of your work, I am more than happy to do that. Gift them to you as a thank you from me as a fan to you. Where I go after that is anybody's guess. I'm going to see what the reaction is to this, whether people like them. I do know, and I'm very aware that there are going to be comments of, why can't I do my own stuff? And I want to address that here and now to start off with. As an artist with a background in art and a background in teaching art, we are all inspired by others. We are all inspired, whether we're whatever creative realm we're in, whether it's dance or poetry or painting, we are all inspired by others. And that is part of our creative process. And for me, building things helps me gain a deeper understanding of objects, of things that are in a two-dimensional realm, of emotions that may be attached with those things. So this isn't, I'm sure I'll get the comment that this is a rip-off thing. This isn't. This is me building as an inspiration from the work of Erwin Saunders. And I've loved it, so I don't care. I've absolutely loved it. Drop a comment below. Please let me know what you think. I can take criticism on the chin. That's not a problem. As I always say, I read all your comments. I do go through all your comments. I don't always get round to answering them. I've said before, I'm technically not very good, so don't hop on here very often. I'm going to carry on building these things, and I will come back probably mid to end of next week. It's taken me 3/4 of a day to do one build and get one complete. So I'm hoping the plan is by sort of mid to end of next week, in between all the other bits and bobs that I'm doing, that I'll have the last 3. One of them I'm super excited to build. It's definitely a brain challenge for me to get that to build. Like I say, in the future, I have plans to build other inspired pieces from Erwin's world, but probably more realistic-y. Don't know where I'm going to go with that yet. Let me know what you think. Let me know where you think I should go with this. And again, Erwin, if you're watching, I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you appreciate them as a representative of your fantastic work. So for now, I've got over my nerves, I've showed it you, I've put it out there in the world, and there's nothing more I can do than sit back and see how you react to it. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned. This Sunday, so the next video up on my channel, I have a fantastic interview, and a lengthy interview with author and archaeologist Neil Rushton, who is part of the Fairy Investigation Society, as I am part of that investigation society. It's a really good chat, and one that I think I'm going to have to revisit time and time again, to unpick, sit down with Neil, and to go in depth diving with all the things that come out of that conversation. Don't forget to subscribe. It really helps me out. It actually really cheers me up when people subscribe, and makes me heartwarmed to know that people are enjoying the content that I put out there. I don't do this for anything other than the love of doing it. So I'm really pleased that people are subscribing and tuning in. So have a great day. I'll speak to you soon.